Hey everyone, how we doing? Welcome to the MrGeorgeMFShow. My name is George. I am your host of today's show. Today, you guys, we got a couple things to discuss, a couple sports things going on in the industry right now. We got the NBA playoffs that we're going to talk about a little bit. We also got some managers getting fired, and we also have a couple other topics to discuss in the leagues of the majors. So, before we start, as you guys know, make sure you guys hit that like button. Comment down below your thoughts on any of the opinions that we discuss on today's show. It doesn't matter what it is. If you want to bring up your own topic of discussion, feel free. Don't hesitate at all, ever. And hit that subscribe button. It's absolutely free. It helps me out $1,000,000,000. And it'd just be awesome. Hope everyone's doing well. Let's get into it. So as you guys know, positive vibes spread first. We got to do our discussion. Here's today's quote. And I like this one because I preach it almost every time a lot. I say it a lot too, almost in every situation. Please don't worry so much because in the end, none of us have very long on this earth. Life is fleeting. And if you're ever distressed, cast your eyes to the summer sky. When the stars are strung across the velvety night, and when shooting stars streaks through the blackness, turning night into day, make a wish. Think of me. Make your life spectacular. I know I did. That was from Robin Williams. So here's how I interpreted that quote, how I took it. It's like I've said every time. You're not on this earth forever. Everything, sadly, at its time has a limit. Sadly, the type of world we live in, every time, any single thing you do has its limit. Anything, any object, our lifespan has its limit. Does it end sooner than others? Sadly, yes. Maybe certain accidents, maybe a vital mistake, maybe a poor decision was made. But at the end of it, we have a limit. We're not here on this earth forever. So with what Mr. Williams is trying to say is, don't let those dark times take over. Let the daylight take over that night, if that makes sense. So understand that, hey, don't let a situation, let's say you got suspended from your job. Don't let that suspension take over and ruin your whole week, or let's say your whole month. Let it sink in. Don't think about the negatives, and then just think about the positives. Positives could be, depending on the situation, hey, let's go back and let's just be better. Let's just be better and let's just do better. And just think about it like that. Never let, let's say, a rejection. Don't take a rejection as like the end of the world. Take it as a positive. Maybe it wasn't meant to be. Maybe God just said, hey, it's not the right moment. Take it like that. I love this quote. Awesome quote. Let me know, you guys, comments down below, your thoughts about it. Let's get into some sports. All right, so starting off with today's discussion, we have some baseball, you guys, that we got to discuss, which is Paul Skenes and the Pirates. As you guys know, the Pirates have let go a couple days ago their former manager and Derek Sholton after 6 seasons with the team. The team, sadly, their percentage of winning throughout the 6 seasons that he was there was at a .410, so obviously under 500. That was the third worst record of any manager with that similar time span. And let's keep it real. Let's keep it real. If we're not living under a rock, we all know that wasn't his fault. We all know that that comes from upstairs. That comes from the top guy being the owner of the place, of the team, and the general manager, the president, anything that comes from above his pay grade. It is not his fault at all. And here's why, you guys. They don't go out and get any pieces for him. They really haven't done anything. They don't sign every single offseason. They barely sign anybody. Any name that is popular, like a Soto, a Tani, let's say a Blake Snell or anybody, they don't even give whiffs to it at all. They literally are similar to the Marlins. They don't like to spend money. They like to just, have a dysfunction team. Literally. That's what it is with them. So for them to fire him, I don't blame him at all because they haven't helped him put on a good team out there. If you tell me, oh, he had a good team where they had a chance to make the playoffs and he just stunk up the place, then that's a different story. But these people never signed anybody. They don't like to sign people. If anything, they don't like to pay anybody. I remember last season, I don't know if it was Carlos Santana or Rowdy Tellez. They only needed like a couple more plate appearances to make like an extra $5,000 in bonuses. And they literally like benched him and didn't let him play. I think it was like that. Or no, they DFA'd him. They literally DFA'd him so they didn't have to pay him that money. So they're cheap as a mother trucker. They don't like to spend. So if you don't spend, obviously that shows you're not going to get anywhere. You know, you got to spend some cachet sometimes to get somewhere and build some pieces. Obviously, the Pirates aren't on that type of timing. So, you know, he had a bad team. That's why the record was so bad. Why did I bring Paul Skenes into this situation? Because obviously Paul Skenes is the face right now of that team. Let's be honest. O'Neal Cruz could be debatable, but it's Paul right now. So a couple days ago, he was told that how did he think about it, everything like that, of the firing, all that. Paul said what a competitor would say. Hey, I'm not surprised. We're 16 and I think it was like 27. You know, that they have a horrible record. Like, you know, why is everybody shocked that he got fired and all that? And here's what I say to the Pirates. This is a message I'll say to the Pirates. Me, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. I personally feel like the Pirates should trade Paul Skenes. I don't know if it's this summer or this next offseason, but I say you should be very looking to picking up the phone call when somebody calls you about this guy and having at least a discussion, seeing what you can get back for him. Why? Because you might as well trade him right now where his value is very high, where you can have confidence that you can receive back a lot of good players for him, a lot of good prospects, or maybe good players with a couple prospects involved. And you can at least, out of one player, get 3 to 4 to 5 players that maybe could step out and do what they got to do. Because with his value right now, you can probably end up getting maybe like a similar package deal, like how the Padres did for Juan Soto or the Yankees, or a little bit under that, where you could get a couple players that will seem promising for your team. Because sadly, here's the thing. It's two things. One, first of all, this is a future Tommy John incoming. And I'm sorry to say it because you never want nobody to get hurt. But let's keep it real. This is a future Tommy John incoming. You won't sustain, your elbow will not sustain and be able to live that long to throw that hard. It's going to be a future Tommy John incoming, or an elbow discomfort or a shoulder discomfort very soon. It's going to happen. We all know. It happens to the best. It's going to happen to him very soon. So you might as well get him out of there before it happens, because you know that it's a 50-50 chance that he'll come back the same. Another thing is, they're not going to pay him his money. I think we should know that. I literally talked about it just a couple minutes ago. They're not going to pay this guy his money. These pitchers nowadays are getting paid racks. I'm talking, think about it. The highest paid pitcher right now, which they do count Shohei Ohtani, is $70 million. After Ohtani, it's Zach Wheeler with $42 million. After Zach Wheeler, it's Jacob deGrom with 37. Blake Snell with 36.4. Garrett Cole with 36. I am telling you right now, there is no way on God's green earth that the Pirates are going to give Paul Skenes $30 million plus. There's no way. I'm sorry. They're not going to do it. So it's like, you might as well get rid of him now before the Tommy John pops up and the value is high. Because if not, Tommy John and that value is just going to decrease and you're not going to get players back. Because obviously you're not going to give him the money he wants. You're not going to go anywhere. You guys haven't won a championship since 1979. Haven't been to the playoffs since 2015. That was 10 years ago. So might as well do something, because you guys aren't getting anywhere. You got stars like O'Neal Cruz, you got Brian Hayes, you got Paul and Brian Reynolds, but you guys aren't going to go anywhere, sadly. You guys just are going to stink up. So you might as well, I would say, try to focus on getting rid of him. But that is my talk with the Pirates. Hey, I don't think they're going to go anywhere. Like I said, was it right that they fired that manager? Not really, because it was their fault, really, that they weren't winning. his people that are above him didn't do anything for him to win, literally. And they weren't putting a winning team. They don't like to spend at all. They really don't. They don't like to give money out. Anyways, Brian Reynolds was a very surprising one, but they really don't. It's just the honest truth. All right. Moving on to some football here, you guys. So a surprising one came out this Saturday. Derr Carr, renowned the QB from the New Orleans Saints, announces his retirement Saturday. He says that what is it? So basically, he got medical scans that have said that he has a substance labral tear and some significant changes to basically some bad things to his cuff, and it may be in jeopardy for him to play in 2025. So he decided to retire and say, bye bye. The Saints did draft, last month they drafted Tyler Sheehan, and in the second year quarterback Spencer Rattler, and then their third year quarterback Jake Hanaher on the roster. That's a weird name. Sorry if I butchered all of them. Now that's the thing. When they had those two QBs on the field, they stunk. They were 0-7 when Carr wasn't starting. So everybody's question, what the heck do the Saints do now that this man has retired? And they do have some cap space cleared up a little bit. But I would say focus on building. I would say try to get maybe those old players that are taking up a lot of cap space, like a Cameron Jordan. I would say try to get rid of them. I would say try to clear up some cap space to where you guys could have some room to move some money around. I don't think you're going to want to make a trade for a QB. It's not going to happen. Now, this does sting because you probably would have wanted to know this before, the draft, because you probably would have gone out, drafted Shador, all that shenanigans, but you're finding out now after the draft that, he's going to retire. But I would say that because obviously the plan is going to most likely be for them to tank so then they could get the first round pick for the next year's draft, which obviously would suck for the fans, but it's just what they're going to have to do. Right now, they're sitting in a position where they don't have a QB. So a lot of the QBs that they have, the ones that they have right now, they stink. They finish 0-7. So I think you might as well get to moving, because we obviously know maybe like a player like Alvin Kamara, who has been in hot waters with the Saints a little bit. He's going to be complaining once they're trying to go 3-15. So it's like you might as well see what you can get out of him. And if you want, maybe trade him, clear up some cap space, and maybe go out and get like a Nick Chubb who can replace him, on a cheaper contract, to say like that. And just try to get some draft picks for Kamara. Y'all, look, don't get me wrong. You got good players. You got Kamara, you got Chris Olave. But without a quarterback right now, you guys stink up the place because you won't be able to do anything. And then you're in the division with the Falcons, who are growing and looking better. They got two quarterbacks right now in Kirk Cousins. Maybe you can go out and have a discussion with them, which I don't think so, but maybe that could be a discussion. And you also have the Buccaneers, who are just doing their thing. They got Baker Mayfield, they got Mike Evans. They're just still trying to do their stuff. So you're not in a strong division, but you want to tweak it, but not too much, because you can't go into a full rebuild, because with one simple quarterback adjusted, you can possibly have a good, season, especially that you're in a weak division. Now, I don't see them going after Rodgers. I don't see that happening. Maybe, but I personally don't see that. I see Rodgers going to the Steelers, most likely, but who knows if he's going to even play. That's going to be the problem also. That's going to be questionable, is who knows. But the Saints, feel bad for you guys. Y'all just need a QB. Y'all need to get a QB and do a couple adjustments, because this sucks. This is a huge blow for sure. All right, let's talk about the NBA playoffs so far, you guys, and how's the series going and all that. So this is, to start off with the first one, this is one that just has me going like, wow. Pacers and Cavs, you guys. I had the Cavs just sweeping the rug with the Pacers. Sweeping the rug And I have been nothing but absolutely wrong. Literally, I'm like, man, this is embarrassing. Cavs defense has not been doing well at all. They have been wet in the bed a lot, especially now with Donovan Mitchell out with his ankle. That's going to suck for them. They're already down 3-1 in the series. Listen, I respect the Pacers for coming out, fighting, doing what they got to do. I respect that 100%. It's going to be hard for the Cavs to make a move. They got to come up and play defense and just score. Because if not, they're out. They're out. I'm telling you, they're going to be out, and Pacers are just going to advance. Now, what they do after that, we'll have to see what happens between Boston and Knicks. But look, I respect that. They're hustling out there, but Cavs, come on, man. I thought you guys winning everything, winning that game, this series, sweeping it, and y'all have just embarrassed me. Knicks and Boston. So it's 2-1 right now. Obviously, Knicks are up, and I'm gonna put here's how this series, how I think about it, how I have looked at all three games. The first two games are just Boston. Boston just wet the bed. It was their fault. They should be winning this series 3-0 right now. Why? Because both games at the beginning, they had a huge lead and they just decided to blow it and just get lazy and wet the bed, obviously. But the Knicks, we got to step it up, man. We got to step this defense up and we got to do better. The percentage of threes that Boston has right now is like above a 40%, and that's crazy high. You guys don't know, wide open threes, the percentage for Boston is extremely high right now in this series. And that means these motherfuckers are just not doing what they got to do. Literally. The percentage of a wide open three in the NBA is 6 feet away. So it looks like we're just not guarding the way we should be. Because the thing is that when Boston beats the Knicks, it's an ass whooping. It's not even like 99 to 97. It's like you're getting your ass kicked. So the problem was with the first two games, Boston just wet the bed and they just decided to give up the lead. But we got to fix this shit up. We got to win, Knicks. We got to do better. Like this, the fact that their percentage of wide open threes are that high, we got to do better with our defense. What are we doing? And it's just, Jalen Brunson, don't know what's going on. We got to make a move. Karl Anthony Towns, we got to make a move, guys. We brought you here. We got to step this shit up. You guys beat them the first two games. Let's put this shit on. Because if they tie it up and they go back home, it's going to be icky. Very icky. OKC and Denver. This series is going to be back and forth, you guys. This one's going to be like how it was with the Clippers and Denver. I think this is going to go to a game 7. I love what I saw with Russell Westbrook. I love that defense he played on SGA. That was very nice. Looked very aggressive. I like that. That was good. Jokic is doing his thing. But what I saw, especially on this game 3, was that Denver just looks tired, you guys. They look very tired and just exhausted. With OKC, they just seem more hungry and energized for a chip, which of course makes sense. But Denver just looks so worn out. I don't know what has it been going on, but when you see them on the court, they just look exhausted. Like they look tired and just out of it. That's what I see. Now, this is going to go to game 7, in my opinion. This has potential to be a great series out of all 4. Both teams are good, but I got OKC still winning it. I think OKC will take the chip. They just seem more hungrier and more energized. I saw Denver just looks tired to me. Last one, Warriors and Timberwolves. Listen, this is a series that has been turned out interesting. I thought Timberwolves are going to just sweep the rug with the Warriors, but Warriors have come out, done what they have to do. Now, look, I think they're going to win this series, I think, can go to game 7. Now, I think the Wolves are going to win it. But if Steph comes back, then the Warriors, I think, have a chance because the Wolves haven't done anything where they're blowing at the Warriors. I think if Steph comes back and Jimmy keeps doing what he got to do and Draymond doing what he got to do, I think the Warriors could win this series. Now, if Steph doesn't come back anytime soon, which he probably will be, I got the Timberwolves probably winning it in 5. But this series for sure will go to a 6 or 7 game series, 100%. Both teams just look, on fire. And I think if the Warriors get back Steph, they got it, in my opinion. All right, my underdog sports bets. As you guys know, we go through sports bets here every time. Please bet responsibly. Don't go out spending like a drunken sailor. Please just bet responsibly. Don't do any dumb shit. All right, so we got 4 picks today, you guys. It's all between the Knicks and Boston's, game today. Jalen Brunson, I have him higher than 5.5 assists. Boston's going to be targeting him, obviously, guarding him a little bit more. He's probably going to pass it. He's averaged 7 the last 2 games. I think he'll have more than 6 assists for sure. Go with that one. Jaylen Brown, I have him higher than 18.5 points. Boston is down. They need to win, obviously. They want to win and go back home with the series tied. He's had 19. He's had over 19 almost every, game. So he should definitely get this for sure. Jason Tatum, I have him higher, 5.5 assists. Boston needs a win, and I think he'll get this, obviously. He'll probably be passing a lot more often, maybe to people like Jalen or Drew. So I see that. Pick that one. I think that happens. Carl Anthony Towns, I have him higher than 11.5 rebounds. Carl is the king of rebounds right now, you guys. He will 1,000% get that. The last one we had, I think we chose like 10.5, 11 rebounds he needed, and he got 14. I think it was either 14, 15, or 17. One of the 3. I don't remember. But this is the rebound king right now. I say go with that one. Those are my underdog sports bets. Please bet responsibly. All right, the last topic for today. Giannis Antetokounmpo, you guys, is a bit open-minded about possibly going to a different team. This is what's been reported. The 2-time NBA MVP has not made any firm decisions on his Bucks future after the franchise 3rd consecutive postseason exit in the first round. But for the first time in his career, Antetokounmpo is open-minded about exploring whether his best long-term fit is remaining in Milwaukee or playing elsewhere. League sources tell ESPN. Teams have approached the Bucks frequently over the years about the availability of Antetokounmpo as a normal exercise and are expected to ramp up due to diligence during combined weeks, according to league sources. Hey, it's like I said. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. My opinion doesn't change. I think Giannis should get the hell out of there. I think he should go to a different team. Obviously, he's been there a couple times. He's already given them a championship to the city. The city obviously hasn't paid him with what he deserves, getting him more pieces, more help to win. And there's no, how could I say, there's no visibility of effort that they're going to focus on making it a better team. That's the sad part. If you were to tell me like this team looks like they're going to improve, that'd be one thing, but they just don't. They've been eliminated almost every time out of the playoffs, and it's just, he got no help. You brought in Damian Lillard, but Damian has just been hurt most of the time. So it's just, it was just a waste. And like I said, there's many teams that could use Giannis. I think, trade for him and all that. I think a team like the Warriors could use Giannis, the Lakers, the Grizzlies, or hell, the Rockets. I think about Giannis with Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry on the Warriors. I think that would be nice. Or Giannis with the Lakers with LeBron and Luka. He's spoken a couple times good about the Lakers. I think that could be a nice fit, especially with LeBron soon probably exiting. Eventually, Luka would end up like Giannis. He's going to need some help. I think that'd be a good piece, especially in LA for Giannis. That would be nice. Or hell, the Grizzlies. Think about him with John Morant. Grizzlies are consistently in the playoffs every time. And John Morant, if he gets another piece like Giannis, they have a very good chance to make it far, in my opinion. Or Houston. Houston has a lot of young, promising cats. They could bring in Giannis, and they have a very good argument of discussion of winning a chip, especially with all those young cats they have. And Giannis, I think he would fluid well with them, and I think they could have a very good discussion of, hey, maybe this guy, is the one. They made it to the playoffs. They got a lot of young people that, want to win, of course. That would be a good fit. The Suns, I don't understand. It wouldn't make sense because it's like they're trying to get rid of KD. And to me, that's like similar level stardom of both players. They're both on the same platform of like value and star. But hey, I think for his sake, I think he should get out of Milwaukee. Sadly for the Bucks fans, I'm sorry, but I think he should. I think he should go take his talent somewhere else and focus on just continuing on your career, focus on winning chips and doing what you got to do. I think with the Bucks, it's not going to happen. they've already made it obvious they're not going to be making moves like that every frequently. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult, a little bit more of a struggle, because they've shown it to you. Hey, we're not really going to go out and spend or get too much players. They've shown it. But you guys, I'm going to wrap it up here today. That is all for today's show. Like I say before, stay humble, stay blessed, stay positive. Have a great day. Bye-bye.